Ever woken up in a cold sweat, heart pounding with that horrible sinking feeling in your stomach, convinced you've just failed the most important exam of your life? Then you blink, look around your room, and realize you graduated years ago. If this sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. Dreaming about failing an exam is one of the most common anxiety dreams out there, right up there with teeth falling out or being chased. But what does it actually mean? Why do our brains love to torture us with pop quizzes from a class we haven't taken in a decade? Let's dive deep into the world of exam dreams and figure out what our subconscious is really trying to tell us. First off, let's get one thing straight. Dreaming about failing an exam almost never has anything to do with an actual exam. Unless you're currently in school and have a big test coming up, this dream is usually a metaphor. It's a classic symbol for feeling judged, tested, or unprepared in your waking life. Think about it. What does an exam represent? It's a situation where you're being evaluated, where your performance is under scrutiny, and there's a clear standard for success or failure. So when you dream about failing, your mind is likely tapping into feelings of inadequacy or fear of not measuring up in some other area of your life. This could be related to your job, a new project you've taken on, or even your relationships. Are you up for a promotion at work? That's your exam. Are you about to give a big presentation to your boss? That's your exam. Are you meeting your partner's parents for the first time? Yep, you guessed it. That's your exam too. Your brain takes this real-world pressure and translates it into a familiar scenario from your past, the dreaded exam hall. It's a universal symbol of performance anxiety. The dream is basically a big, flashing neon sign from your subconscious saying, "Hey, I'm feeling a little stressed and unprepared over here." Let's break down some common variations of this dream. Maybe you dream that you can't find the exam room. You're running through endless, confusing hallways, the clock is ticking, and you're getting more and more frantic. This often points to a feeling of being lost or uncertain about your path in life. You might feel like you're not where you're supposed to be, or you're unsure of the next steps to take to reach your goals. The maze-like school is your current life situation, and you're struggling to find your direction. Or what about the dream where you show up for the exam, but you realize you haven't studied at all? The questions look like they're written in a foreign language, and everyone else is scribbling away furiously. This classic scenario often reflects a feeling of an imposter. It's the dreaded imposter syndrome playing out in your sleep. You might have landed a new job or received a promotion, but deep down, you're terrified that you're not qualified and that everyone is going to find out you're a fraud. You feel like you've been put on the spot without the necessary knowledge or skills to succeed. Another common one is dreaming that you're sitting for the exam, but you don't have a pen, or your pen runs out of ink. This is incredibly frustrating, even in a dream. This can symbolize a feeling of being unequipped or lacking the right tools to handle a challenge in your life. You might feel powerless or that circumstances beyond your control are preventing you from proving your abilities. It could be a lack of resources, support, or even just confidence that's holding you back. And let's not forget the bizarre details our dreams love to throw in. Maybe you show up to the exam and realize you're not wearing any pants. As funny as it sounds, this is a very common anxiety dream element. It represents vulnerability and exposure. You feel like your flaws or insecurities are on full display for everyone to see and judge in a high-stakes situation. So, now that we've decoded some of these dreams, what can we do about them? The first step is to recognize them for what they are, a signal. Your brain isn't trying to be cruel, it's trying to get your attention. When you have one of these dreams, take a moment to reflect on your waking life. Ask yourself, where am I feeling tested or judged right now? What situation is making me feel unprepared or anxious? Am I putting too much pressure on myself to be perfect? Identifying the source of the stress is half the battle. Once you pinpoint the real-life exam, you can start to address it. If it's a work project, maybe you need to break it down into smaller, more manageable tasks. If you're feeling unprepared, perhaps you can seek out more training or ask a mentor for advice. Simply acknowledging the pressure and giving yourself permission to not be perfect can work wonders. Remember, the dream is a reflection of your feelings, not a prediction of the future. Just because you dream of failing doesn't mean you're actually going to fail. Another powerful tool is to practice good sleep hygiene and stress management techniques before you go to bed. Avoid looking at your phone or watching intense shows right before you sleep. Instead, try something calming like reading a book, listening to gentle music, or doing some light stretching. Meditation and deep breathing exercises can be incredibly effective at calming an anxious mind. When you go to bed with a calmer mindset, you're less likely to have your anxieties manifest in stressful dreams. You can also try a technique called dream rescripting. If you wake up from an exam dream feeling anxious, don't just brush it off. Take a few minutes to consciously imagine a different, more positive ending. Imagine yourself finding the exam room with time to spare. Imagine looking at the test and realizing you know all the answers. Imagine confidently handing in your completed paper and walking out with a sense of accomplishment. This might sound a little silly, but it can help retrain your brain and reduce the emotional impact of the nightmare if it happens again. It's about taking back control from your subconscious. It's also interesting to note that these dreams often happen to high achievers. People who are used to succeeding and who hold themselves to very high standards are often the most likely to dream about failure. It's a paradox, right? You'd think the most successful people would have the most confident dreams, but their drive for perfection is exactly what fuels the fear of not measuring up. So if you're having these dreams, give yourself a pat on the back. It probably means you care deeply about what you do and you're striving to be your best. The key is to channel that drive in a healthy way without letting the fear of failure paralyze you. So the next time you wake up from a nightmare about a surprise physics final, don't panic. Take a deep breath. Remember, it's just your brain's weird, wonderful way of processing stress. Use it as an opportunity for a little self-check-in. Acknowledge the pressure you're under, be kind to yourself, and take practical steps to manage your anxiety. These dreams aren't a curse, they're a clue. They're a helpful, albeit stressful, nudge from your subconscious to pay attention to your emotional well-being. And hey, at the very least, they make for a great story to tell your friends. You're not alone in that bizarre, pantless exam hall. Thank you so much for watching. If you've ever had a crazy exam dream, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Let's share our stories. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of our minds. See you next time!